Hey there, I'm Michelle Burbage, and if you're here, chances are you've been living with the pain and frustration of interstitial cystitis. And if you're like most of my clients, you've probably tried just about everything by now. I would imagine that you've probably seen at least one urologist, if not many. You've probably tried the diets and maybe the instillations, and I'm sure you've already done a ton of antibiotics, or maybe you might have started out early on going on the natural route, and you may have already worked with a naturopath or a functional medicine doctor, and yet here you are and you're still searching. And if you're like some of my clients, you might already be at the point where you're wondering if healing is even possible for you, because we've been told so often that it's not. So before I go any further, I want to just start off by assuring you that yes, healing is possible. I'm proof that it is. My clients have had the same kinds of successes that I've had, but it doesn't happen by chasing symptoms. So you're not going to get there using the same band-aid approaches that have gotten you through up until this point. It doesn't happen by using trial and error. It doesn't happen by using guesswork. And it definitely doesn't happen overnight. Healing, I see, takes a lot of work. It takes time and it takes the right approach. And that's an approach that looks at your entire body and not just at your bladder. And so this is exactly what I do. I'm an integrative healing practitioner, and I specialize in helping people just like you with their IC to finally get to the root of what's driving your symptoms. So before we go any further, I want to be upfront with you because I don't work with everyone who applies. This program is for people who are truly ready to invest in themselves. They're ready to go deep and stay committed to the process. And that means time and it means effort. And yes, of course, there's also a financial investment as well. So I want to tell you a little bit about what it's going to look like when we start working together. Well, when you sign up, the first thing that we do is we start with what I call foundational testing. And this is real testing. It's not the same basics that your doctor ran. In my program, testing includes genetics, something called organic acids. It includes a full blood panel, and that includes comprehensive metabolic panel. It includes iron and homocysteine, all 8 of the thyroid markers, not just the 2 that your doctor may have checked when they said, congratulations, your lab tests are fine, which I'm sure you've heard before. The labs that I run give us a full body view of what's going on. So then from there, I build your personalized foundation protocols, and that is where we start repairing the systems that must be in place before we go any further. So we start by looking at your genetics. What are you predisposed to? I want to look at what is your neurotransmitter function and what is your detox expected to be doing? And then I take that information and I look at it in conjunction with something called the organic acids test. And I want to see how your mitochondria are functioning. That is your energy production. I want to see what kinds of nutritional deficiencies you're dealing with. And then in the same test, we can also look at things like mold and bacteria and so much more. It's a very useful test. And then to round out the foundational testing, I add in thorough blood testing, which shows me a picture of where your body is less than optimal. So that means that I'm not looking at this huge wide range that doctors might be looking at, where you could be just 1 point away from anemia and they'll say, oh, you're in the normal range. What I want to see is how do we get your body back in optimal condition where it can start to heal itself. And optimal condition is very different from the normal ranges that doctors look at. And this distinction makes all of the difference when it comes to your healing. So that's where we start. We start by building a rock solid foundation based on your lab results to get you real answers, not guesswork. And once those protocols are fully on board, once your body is beginning to stabilize and respond, then we can move into the deeper layers of healing. So at this point, we introduce a hormone test that I love. It's a very specific test called the Dutch test. It's the gold standard for hormone testing. And some of you may have already heard about this from your naturopath. The problem is if you did the test before you did the foundational work, then you missed a huge piece of your healing puzzle. And the reason for that is that your hormones don't function in isolation. So if we test them too soon, it gives your naturopath a distorted picture. Because once your system is supported, then we can actually get accurate insights into your hormones and we can begin to understand how the patterns are impacting your IC symptoms. And this is really key because for so many of us, hormone imbalances is one of the biggest root causes. Okay, so after that, we then turn to the gut. And the first gut test that I run for you is called the GI map. And that gives us a detailed look at your gut microbiome, bacteria, protozoa, yeast, even some inflammatory markers. And this test helps us see what's been silently contributing to inflammation and immune dysregulation, both of which are deeply tied to IC. So those are the 5 tests included with your package. After that, we may run some additional tests to dig deeper depending on where you are and what I see from the first 5 tests. So other tests we might run could be something like a Microgen DX. And that looks at the DNA of your urine sample to detect tiny amounts of bacteria that outdated Petri dish testing may have missed. Similarly, I might look at a Para-Wellness test. That's another gut test, which allows us to uncover the deeper organisms and pathogens that may be driving your chronic symptoms. So it's something that you might call an embedded infection, and those also don't show up on the more mainstream tests. So key to my process is that all of this happens in a very specific order. We don't throw everything at your system all at once because that causes stress. That's not a step-by-step healing path. That's chaos. And that's probably what you've been getting up to this point. But my process is very different because it's designed to support your body, not overwhelm it with additional stress. So during this whole process of testing and supplementing, we're also doing some other really important things. We're working on opening up your detox pathways. We're working on supporting your nervous system, supporting your mindset, tweaking your nutrition, and we're working on some really important lifestyle shifts as well. So I don't want you to look at this like just another appointment that you have once or twice a month, and they give you a supplement or a prescription to try, and then you don't see them again for a month or maybe 2 months. That's guesswork. That is management of symptoms, and that is the complete opposite of true body healing. It's a band-aid, and that's not at all what I do. What you're heading into with me is a full body healing journey. So having said that, the next question I get asked frequently is how long does it take? So what can you expect in terms of time? And most of my IC clients work with me for 9 to 12 months. And as I'm thinking about that right now, I don't think any of them have worked with me for less than 9 months. Sometimes it has taken a little bit more. And that's because IC is complex and it takes a lot of time to untangle the root causes. But that's not to say that it's going to take you between 9 to 12 months or longer to feel better. Most of my clients start feeling a lot of relief in the first couple of months once we have the foundational protocols on board. So then another question that I get asked frequently is, what is the investment? In addition to time and effort, what is the monetary investment? And that's a really great question. My full body healing programs start at $4,000, and that includes everything that I've discussed so far. So it includes the 5 basic tests that you need. Those are shipped directly to your door. After you've submitted them, we get the results back. Then you get my expert analysis of your tests. You get personalized supplement protocols, which also includes one-on-one support from me. That is in the form of calls every so often, depending on the package you choose. You also get full email support, so you're never left wondering, what was it she said about how I take this supplement, or should I take it with food? So I'm here to answer all of those questions for you. You're never left feeling like you're alone when you're feeling a little bit off. And I answer my private clients within 24 hours, and it's usually a lot faster than that. So your package also will include custom diet support, lifestyle shifts, mindset shifts. It's a complete white glove healing package. And one thing that is important to note is that supplements are not included, nor do I sell them myself. I give you my recommendations about what to buy, the brand, the concentration, and so on, and then you decide where you want to buy them or where to go to get the best price locally. And the last thing that I want to say about this is that I do not offer a pay-as-you-go model. And what I mean by that is if we work together, you're committing to the full journey just exactly the same as I am. So I invest a massive amount of my time and energy and expertise into your health. And I do expect that you'll be every bit as committed to your health as I am. So for that reason, I don't offer one-off test analysis. You can't just get in touch with me and say, hey, can you analyze my Microgen? Because I don't know what you've done before that. And so it's not going to help you heal your whole body. And I only work with people who are ready to run the full program to heal from the root cause. I want you to be successful. So then After that, the most common questions that I get is, how do I start to work with you? Well, the first step is to fill out the attached application. It should be somewhere around right below this form or beside it somewhere. And I have to stress that I only take 2 to 3 new clients per month. And that means that I'm really selective about who I work with because, again, I want you to succeed. And to be perfectly honest, not everyone is ready for this level of healing. I do a ton of behind the scenes work, analyzing your tests and correlating your data. So I can't even take on more than 2 or 3 clients a month. And I want to be sure that those clients I do take on are fully committed to following through. So if that's you, if everything that I've said sounds like the exact thing that you've been dreaming about, this is where you are in your healing process, you're ready to say yes to this level of in-depth healing, then the next step is really simple. Just fill out the application form right below this video. Please be honest and thorough. I do read every single word, and it's very important to me to make sure that we're a good match because you might be a better match with one of my colleagues. Frequently, I will refer potential clients to another practitioner if I feel that your symptoms match their circumstances better, or if their expertise matches you better than I do. So then once you fill out the form and submit it, I review it with my team. And if I feel like you're a good fit, then we invite you to a free consultation call. And if you're feeling that pull, if you resonate with what I'm saying, you're totally in and you're ready, then do fill out the application below. That is all I have to say for now. I've gone on longer than I anticipated, but I want to leave you with the knowledge that you do not have to keep living in survival mode. Real healing is absolutely possible. It just requires a new way of thinking. It requires a connection with someone who knows this path and has walked it many times before, and it requires a willingness to show up fully for yourself. So if you're ready, I'm excited to talk to you. Just fill out the application below, and I hope to chat with you soon.